For the next 100 days, I am stranded on this raft floating away in the middle of the ocean. During that time, I use whatever I can find to survive against the sea life and create my own paradise, being one of my best builds to date. If you end up enjoying this video at all, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Now, let's see how I survive 100 days stranded out to sea. Day 1, I am on a few pieces of wood floating out in the middle of the ocean. How do I keep getting into these situations? Well, no time like the present to fend for myself. Again. At random times, the ocean will spit out another man's trash, which turns into my treasure. See, I got a barrel, which has some interesting starter items inside. Maybe I should eat that pufferfish, just to see what it does. However, that's how I have to survive out here. Use this fishing rod to catch the sea trash, or I could just jump in after it. But if I jump in, I might run into a few bruises. So let's be careful of the ocean. On that haul though, I was able to acquire a few leaves, and if I break them, I might get a sapling. Or not. Cool, I didn't want one anyway. Oh, actually, I have a jungle one. Yeah. Alright, I'll use it. You see that Bruce in the water? He wants my booty, but he ain't getting it. After gathering enough of the sea life, I was able to make stone tools, and the best part, I never had to make a wooden pickaxe. Heh, sucks to be you, nerd. After a few more barrels I found discarded in the ocean, I made a dirt extension for some saplings. Yeah, I don't like it either. So I spent the evening fixing my raft up to have 3 saplings planted down along with some carrots, since food will probably be an issue at some point. But it's nighttime now and I can't sleep. Shocker, this always seems to happen. So instead, I swam around the ocean collecting pickles. Sea pickles are a vibe, plus if I want to swim at night, it would be best to see the wildlife under my house. After that, my first tree grew. Of course it had to be jungle, but here and now, I make the decision to use jungle wood for all my builds this entire video. Never in my life would I willingly use this wood, but the raft is made out of it, so where's the harm? I finished out the night by trying to catch some sushi, and to my surprise, the California roll was not on the menu. Now that the sun's up, I was able to safely search the ocean for polluted treasures. Now that I think about it, that kind of continues the entire video. Maybe I'm a secret agent for Team C's. Other than just clearing up our dying ocean, I also fished. Apparently you can get some very interesting looking creatures from the sea, and I'm not used to it. Although I'm sure they all taste great in a smoker. After positively and negatively impacting the marine life, I had some trees grow behind me. I need to get this stuff to grow ASAP so I can get more saplings and make a giant jungle tree. Those are cool, but they're still not as cool as the spruce trees. However, a sick side effect from using the jungle trees was that I actually got food from them. Is that a banana? There's a banana. I guess I didn't need to fish for a sushi after all. Speaking of fish, I wanted to cook some of mine up, so I added jellyfish to the furnace, and to my shock, I think I burnt the food. I swear, I did not. I put jellyfish in a smelter and I got slime balls. Well, to chalk up a very successful day, I found enough string to make a bed, so this time when it got dark, I was able to handle it by closing my eyes and making all my problems go away. Now that I'm refreshed, it was time to get a mine going. I've been above water for way too long, and somehow on day 3, I don't have iron armor yet. Saddening. So I went to the bottom of the, very deep ocean with a trapdoor and mined down for a bit. This shall be the start of our cave dwelling adventures, but I need a ladder, so back up I go already. I wanted to collect as much wood as possible since I need a lot of sticks to get down there in the mines. However, the ocean wasn't granting kindness today. Whoa, okay, I can't see, I'm legally blind. Dude, why is the ocean throwing these curveballs at me? Like, I thought we were friends. As I try to get back in the water so I can place letters, it happened again. Whoa, relax. All right, this is my safe space, get away. Note to self, ocean scary, and I'm the victim. With that discovery, I went back to making my mine shaft. It was just straight down to Y11. The first cave I found actually had some diamonds in it, but I'm still rocking stone tools, so I grabbed up a few different veins of iron and headed back to the surface to smelt them into a chestplate, helmet, pickaxe, axe, and shield. I'm half ready for war. Back in the mines, I started grabbing up every ore I could find, cause it's all valuable. And yes, that includes the diamonds, which I only got 2 of, by the way. Not cool. And even worse, the cave actually ends here, so I had to go strip mining. But almost right away, I was rewarded with 5 more diamonds, so that covers my depression. The strip mine also led into an underwater magma cave, so I collected some of the magma to use for air bubbles while I mined some of the ores there. Trust me, this wasn't a fun experience. Do you know how slow it is to mine underwater? Terrible. And after suffering from oxygen deprivation for way too long, I resurfaced to get all of my materials smelted up. I started smelting up some of my ores and organizing them into chests, but the best part was that by nightfall, one of the giant jungle trees had grown. And since I'm using one of the coolest mods ever added to Minecraft, I was able to one-chop this tree down and dude, it was so satisfying to watch. With all the wood that I had gathered, I worked into the night on making a brand new platform, or my own raft, I guess. Technically, I am surviving on one now, but I wanted to make a homemade one. So I started out by adding gigantic logs to either side and then filling it in with jungle slabs. I don't exactly have a plan for this raft, but I think logs kind of float in the ocean, so that was the design I was going for. Now that the base of it's done, I kind of have to work out what I'm going to be putting on the raft. I obviously want to have a farm up here and then some way to grow trees, as well as a house, but while trying to make this farm idea, I really messed up. I mean, the design looks alright, but literally those trees that I planted down will not grow. However, I didn't know that at the time, so I moved on to making a little dock for the singular boat that I have. Not sure why that was so important, but alright, whatever. Now for the main attraction, the actual house on the raft. I'm not going to be living like a hobo like I was on the before raft, so the after one has to have a nice little place to live. Obviously, I'm using a bunch of jungle wood to make this entire thing, so I have to struggle with my eyes to look at this. Funny enough, while I was actually making this house, I ran out of jungle wood. So I used up oak for the roof, because I actually like the oak leaves better, and I thought it would kind of break up the roof detail a little bit more. However, this is when I noticed that my jungle trees are not growing, so I have to fix the farm and separate that from the trees. Now, I don't exactly know what was going on in my head while trying to build this raft, but golly, I tried to put way too much detail into everything I built. Thankfully, after getting everything in its place, I was able to move in here. I made the house a very nice little area with furnaces, crafting tables, barrels, and of course, my storage chests. Thankfully, the newly designed tree farm that I made actually grew a jungle tree, so I was able to use that to finish off the roof of my house. Which means everything is off our old raft and onto our new one, and I think this one looks a lot better, so yeah, we're gonna delete this old raft real quick so I don't have to bear the sight of it anymore. Days 7 and 8 were a little bit more relaxing, if you find mining under the earth relaxing. Now that we have our house sorted out, I now have to worry about the armor that I'm wearing, or lack thereof. So it was time to go back down in the caves and get to mining. Now this mod was actually made in 1.16, which is the one mining area I'm used to, plus I know it all too well. So while I was underground, my goal was to get a ton of diamonds and iron so I don't have to come back down here for a little while. I started by searching the little lava caves because they can have huge veins of diamonds, not like the one veins we have in 1.18 plus. However, I also realized while I'm down here, I should probably grab some obsidian, so I didn't sit here for too long grabbing 18 pieces of obsidian. I'm not bored, you are. Okay, back to finding diamonds. I was able to get a few before I ran into an abandoned mine shaft. The best part about this place is that I actually found it at Y11, which means this entire thing is going to be in diamond range. So I looked around this place, grabbing a ton of different ores, looting any of the mine shaft chests I could, and avoiding all possible mobs. Unfortunately, that strategy didn't work forever because I ended up finding a witch and, let's just say, I don't like poison. Me being at half a heart really ran through my food supply, so I had to be quick while down here. I grabbed up the rest of the ores that I wanted and headed up to surface. Throughout the entire trip, I got 28 diamonds, almost 2 stacks of iron, almost a stack of gold, and a lot of redstone and lapis that we won't talk about. That stuff's useless anyway. We're back on the raft at day 9, and I ran out of food while in the caves, so I decided to make a smoker and put some potatoes in there because I am starving. Then I made the executive decision to start fishing for the entire day. But this time, there's actually a reason to it, okay? I got all that obsidian from earlier, but I have no way of getting a book, which means I can't make an enchantment table. I mean, sure, yeah, I can go to the nether, but that's kind of boring. So instead, I decided to sit here and fish until I got a book. Thankfully, it only took like 3/4 of the day to finally fish one up. Ooh, a book. It had to be sharp 3. With a serpent charmer? You know what? It's fine. Now that I have an enchanted book, all I have to do is grindstone it so that I can use it to make an enchant table. Rest in peace, Sharp 3 book, but you made the ultimate sacrifice so that I can enchant stuff. I then enchanted my diamond pickaxe and iron sword with starter enchants, just so I can say I made a little progress on day 9. Days 10 and 11 will be productive, however, because I'm going on a boating adventure. There's no way that I am the only raft out here, or maybe there's a small island I can go aboard, but there has to be something out on the ocean. So I boated until I hit something. The first thing that I hit was a gigantic pirate ship. Dude, I thought my raft was like pretty decent size, but there was just a huge ship sitting out here. But of course my brain thinks it only ways to kill me, so of course I had to go loot it. What in the world is that? Oh, it's a ship. Alright, well, time to die, I guess. Haha! You can all get me at once, actually. Yeah, apparently the ship is infested with pillagers, which isn't good for me. Oh my lord, there's so many of you. But thankfully I mined into a specific part of the ship that allowed them to all come at me while I was just hitting them and they couldn't do anything about it. It was pretty great. After killing all of the pillagers on this floor, I was able to loot a little bit. I got a lot of TNT, for some reason they kept this on the ship, emeralds, and I found a chest with diamond horse armor inside. Yeah, I'm gonna find a horse out here. Although when I tried to pull up on the deck, there were just as many pillagers, man. After fighting off all the unwanted seamen, I wanted to loot the top floor and see if there was any loot worth it. Although finding a compass and some paper really made me think I was getting gypped. But there were a couple hay bales, so technically it's not worthless. That's when I discovered that there was a lower part of the ship, with a lot more men down there. Shockingly, once again, I was able to handle the rest of the ship and start looting. But like seriously, there was nothing down here. No treasure whatsoever. I mean, the cookie is probably the best thing I got on the entire ship. That wasn't enough to satisfy my adventuring itch, so I moved on. While on my little boat, I was able to find a guardian temple, but I think it's broken down because this doesn't seem very familiar. I did get a golden apple from it, but after being shot by a trident guy, I dipped out of there pretty quickly. And while back on the sail, I found the greatest thing that could have happened to me the entire video. I found a villager floating out on a small boat. However, the minute I make it over to him, almost everything goes wrong. A bunch of trident guys spawn, destroy my boat, and I have to duck onto the ship and just avoid everything. Man, there's creepers, there's trident guys, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck here with a villager. So, how's your day going? I tried to come up with a way to get the villager out of there, but the trident guys are just gonna break my boat, so somehow I have to deal with them. Unfortunately, they do way too much damage to me and are super annoying, so I just popped the gapple and dove in to beat the heck out of them, alright? I cannot deal with these things anymore. After I got the villager into a boat, all I had to do was take him home. But wait, where is home, by the way? When traveling back to try and find it, I found another, smaller ship that was actually full of villagers. Oh my word, this one's full of villagers. Oh, they're not villagers anymore. They're witches. That's a witch boat. That's an evil boat. My curiosity peaked as this entire boat changed shape, color, and mobs. I don't know how it did that, but it was pretty cool. Although once I got on the ship, I realized that I was outgeared, dude. Okay, at one point I had to fight an illusionist. I still do not know how to kill this thing, and it was bodying me. Thankfully, the loot on the ship wasn't too bad. I mean, I even got a wither skeleton skull, so I guess I can spawn the wither? Why would anyone want to do that willingly? And after boating back to my raft with my villager, the entire loot haul that I got was quite insane. I got a few potions, that wither skeleton skull, golden apples, a few ores, and of course, the TNT. That's like the coolest thing I got. I got TNT. Okay, fine, the villager's pretty cool too. Unfortunately, I don't think this guy is going to switch from being a fish trader, and since I don't have any fish of any kind for him, I think I'm gonna have to find another one so I can breed him and make more villagers. Although having this Squidward is a step in the right direction. So days 12 and 13, I wanted to make the next step by going and finding another one. Yes, for the next 2 days, I went back out and did almost the exact same thing I just did. Although while out on the open sea, I was avoiding all of those giant pirate ships because after looting one of them, I realized they have zero loot for me. I mean, there's no treasure. How are you pirates and not have treasure? You guys are like useless. Instead, I focused on tiny ships, and specifically a tiny island that had a little bit of sugarcane on it. This is the first sugarcane I've ever seen, and trust me, I'm gonna need this. Right after finding that sugarcane, I also found another one of the tiny ships that I thought would turn into witches, but come on, there's literally an iron golem there. There is no way that that's going to turn into witch. Ah, you sons of a gun. Getting really annoyed with this witch ship thing. However, I did go inside and get my second wither skeleton skull. One more of these and I can actually spawn the wither. Again, still don't know why I'm going for this. Back on the hunt, I saw a boat with black sails, okay? This has to be a fake witch ship. There's no way there's a brand new boat that's gonna turn into... Oh, are you kidding me? Finding a villager is gonna be a lot harder than I thought. Long into the night, I actually found a boat with an evoker on it, okay? But the coolest part was that it had bookshelves, so I had to risk it. I broke inside, boarded myself in, and grabbed 4 different bookshelves, which is only 12 books, but hey, that's better than nothing. I did also try to kill the evoker, but the minute I got down to 3 hearts, I realized I was no match for this team up. The next ship that I stumbled upon happened to be a TNT ship. I don't really know what any of this means, but okay. I broke on board and it had a blaze spawner with lots of TNT inside. Terrible combination, but it also had living TNT monsters. The blaze was full of gunpowder, lava, fire charges, and of course TNT. I didn't really need all of this stuff, but I guess I can use it for blowing myself up later, I guess. When I was on my way home, just about to give up, I finally found a villager. Oh, villager, villager, my friending, please. This dude was a sight for sore eyes. I'd been at this for 2 days now, just trying to find this guy's kind. Thankfully, he hopped on the boat with me and I was able to take him back to my raft. That's the second villager I trapped and now I can start breeding them. Alright, I've been in the ocean for a little while and I am floating on a raft. I need some solid ground, so for the next few days I decided to do that. I'm going to build an island. Now, I know this is surviving on a raft. I'm absolutely going to keep the raft that I am standing on, but I also need a place for these villagers, and this is not big enough. When it comes to this project, I'm going to need a lot of dirt because this thing is going to be massive. So I headed down to the mines because that's the only spot I'm going to find dirt. See, if I strip mine, I can find these little pockets of dirt that I can then mine and use up on the surface. Now, you think this would be easy. After doing this for an entire day, though, I only had about 4 stacks of dirt, which meant I was going to need to ramp this project up. So on days 14 through 16, I went right back down into the mines to keep digging for more dirt. The issue is that sometimes while I was strip mining, I would run into caves that are deadly. I swear I swam into a gigantic cave and was just waiting to be eaten by a fish. Thankfully, no harm came to me and I was able to leave with a lot more stacks of dirt. And to end off day 16, I started working on a cobblestone outline of the island. I wanted to almost kind of circle the raft in a way so that it looks like I parked it here on purpose. However, doing this project in the dark was a no-no because if I build too far away, monsters are gonna start spawning on the outline, so I slept. Day 17, I got straight back to work on this cobblestone outline. There were a lot of moving parts to this thing, but as soon as I finished, I started using up all of the dirt that I had collected to fill in the outline. However, within the entire day, I ended up using every single stack of dirt I had collected in 3 days prior, and I've only gotten this far. This is going to be a massive project, but I swear in the end, it's going to look amazing. Day 18, I took a little bit of a break from building, except I did have to extend this sugarcane farm. I'm starting to think more about the enchants that I'm going to have to do later, and this little farm is not going to cut it. So I extended it out further, and then thought to myself, if I do end up getting enough sugarcane, I have no leather for this. Which means it's time to head to the nether. I have a decent bit of gold, so I made my nether portal over on the island and hopped in. Unfortunately, it's not the best spawn, but at the end of one of the tunnels, I did find some pigment. This could be perfect. Oh, this could be bad and perfect at the same time. Perfect. Here we go. Ah! What is that? Get off me! Get off me! What the? All right. I'm fine. Whatever that was. All right. I made a hole for the piglins and started throwing all of my gold at them. Of course, I'm gonna sit there and grab up all the loot, but dude, why did they give me so many pearls? I swear I could be a speedrunner. The reason I'm in here is leather, but every single time they gave me a new trade, I swear it was 90% chance of getting pearls. I only left the nether with around 12 leather. It was so unfortunate. Probably the worst luck I've ever had, and yet it's still the best luck I've ever had. By the end of the day, I had to really upgrade my tools. They were all looking terrible, so I made a new pickaxe, axe, and shovel. The best part is that I was able to enchant them with all efficiency 1 and then combine them with my old tools so that they were kind of useful. Which is great, because the next 2 days I am going to absolutely obliterate my tools. I'm going on another mining expedition. Shocker. Remember how I ran out of dirt earlier? Yep, I'm gonna be needing more. So I went back down into the mines and started strip mining. The 3 things that I want are gold, diamonds, and dirt. What a terrible list. Now, strip mining is fun and all when you pull up a TV show to watch, but not when you're trying to watch the YouTube video. So I'll just tell you, right before my pickaxe was about to break, I escaped the caves with a solid 10 stacks of dirt, almost 2 stacks of gold, and another 30-ish diamonds. Pretty good haul when all I wanted was a brown cube. The next day, I was back to working on the island. I just got 10 stacks of dirt for a reason, and I had to fill this thing out. Unfortunately, to my own surprise, it was not enough. Again, I'm beginning to see a theme here. Even though I ended up using all my dirt, I wasn't done for the day. I ended up enchanting a couple more armor pieces and then making another diamond pickaxe. This time the enchantment table actually gave me some luck and I got efficiency 2, which is great because my other one was already efficiency 2, and I could combine them for efficiency 3. Wow, that was a long explanation for a really boring part. Also, I totally forgot that I had this map. I don't really want to fill this out. Instead, I decided to make some shears and mine the vines, because I guess at some point in the future, I might maybe want mossy cobble. Great use of my time. Oh, I forgot we still didn't have enough dirt. Alright, back on another mining trip. Yeah, I know, strip mining is getting boring, but I haven't gone this way yet. Look, I think you guys have seen enough of me mining dirt, so yes, day 22, I mined a bunch more dirt, and then day 23, shockingly, I placed it down. There's zero chance that this is not enough dirt, alright? This has to be enough. I need more dirt? Dude, how? Okay, I swear this one's going to be a quick trip. I went right back down in the caves, got some more dirt, and I'm telling you right now, I'm not going back, alright? I'm done with this. The island was too big. I don't know why I did this. After grabbing like 2 stacks of dirt, this had to be enough. I mean, it definitely wasn't at all, and instead of going mining for more dirt to finish out the island, I did something I greatly regret. I started duplicating it by turning it into coarse dirt and then back into regular dirt. I hate this process, alright? But I hate it a little less than going back down there into the mines and mining even more. So yes, that was how I finalized the island, was using coarse dirt, which I could have done in the beginning, but who has the time for that? Day 24, we have the island set and we are ready to build here. I just don't know exactly how I'm going to build here because it's so brown. Like, jungle wood is disgusting enough, I don't need to be building on dirt, which means I have to somehow get a grass block. Thankfully, it's quite easy. They can apparently spawn in barrels, so I collected a few barrels and, shocker, I opened one up to find it. With the existence of a grass block on the island, I think mobs can spawn, but I don't think they ever do. I also finally filled out the sugarcane farm, which means we are on max production with that. And then for the rest of the day, I ran around the island with logs in my hand looking like an idiot. Yeah, in my head, I was trying to figure out how I'm going to build on the island. I mean, there are a bunch of different buildings I'm going to have on this thing, and I don't want them all crossing paths. So the part where I am placing down logs in a very weird manner, I swear means something in the future. Not right now. I know I look insane and I deserve to be in a mental asylum for this. I get it. Day 25, I realized that the villagers I've had on the island for so long have been useless because they are not producing babies. So to get that production ramped up, I decided to make them a villager breeder on the island. You guys all know that I'm a pretty decent builder, but when I cooked up this idea in my head, I had no idea how amazing it would turn out, okay? For the build, I'm using all jungle materials, which is definitely not my norm, and I'm also using the jungle leaves. The idea for this place was to kind of look like a broken down boat used as a house, I guess. That's the only way I can really describe this. However, I ended up using leaves for the walls and the roof, and then I made like a caved in archway roof boat bottom. I don't know what I'm doing, I just built it, okay? But this is the final product, and if you like it, go down in the comments and tell me, because I've never built something so strange but also awesome at the same time. Day 26, I went to finish off the build by getting the interior done. Now I still had to finish off the areas for the doors and then add some roof beams, and now I have to get the villagers over here. Clearly the villagers love being dragged against their will into their home for the rest of eternity. But now that they're both in here, I added in 7 extra beds, which means I can get 5 more villagers if these guys get busy, you know what I mean? So to let them get in the mood, I lit up the room and threw down a bunch of bread. Hopefully this works. After all that building, my adventuring itch was catching back up to me, so I decided it was time to head into the Nether and go locate some bastions. Now, I am not the most prepared guy for this mission, but I am the only man on this mission, which means it has to work out, right? While running through the Nether, the first place that I found was a Nether fortress, and shockingly, inside I found something I should never have possession of: a bomb. The game literally gave me a bomb. Thankfully, no one inside the bastion was on my bad side, and I didn't have to unleash the explosion upon them. But again, I am not looking for a Nether fortress, I'm looking for the bastion where all the piggies reside. Of course, the first one that I found had to be a treasure bastion. I mean, this is obviously what I'm looking for, but dude, come on, my luck's insane. I looted the tall area first, as it doesn't always have the best loot, but right now I'm pretty poor, so I'll take anything. And when it was time to get to the bottom section, things got a little spicy. Do not worry about my health. Don't even look down there. I'm definitely fine. Anyway, onto the treasure. When I got to the middle of the bastion, I discovered the best possible thing I could have gotten: a god apple. I've literally never gotten a god apple from a bastion before, but this was an awesome find. I'm a little upset I didn't get another ingot, but to be fair, I did get diamond boots, and I hadn't even made diamond armor yet, so I guess I don't need netherite right away. After only looting one of the bastions, I decided to head home. However, my food consumption had turned to be an issue. I didn't have any left. I was low, I didn't have any food, there's zero chance I'm getting back to my portal until I remembered that hoglins exist, so I started shooting those guys down with the crossbows I had gotten so I could eat some raw pork chops. I finally returned home with quite a lot of loot, you know, a few diamonds, a lot of gold, a couple pieces of ancient debris, and of course, most importantly, that god apple we got. I'd say my adventuring itch has been satiated. Okay, so day 28's adventure wasn't all for nothing. I had gotten 20 blocks of gold, which is plenty to start trading with the piglins. Which means, yes, I did technically go back in the Nether, throw some gold in the hole, and wait for a while, but the reward was awesome. I got 40 pieces of leather, which is plenty for me to make a level 30 enchant table. I crafted up all the bookshelves, placed it down, and now I can finally enchant a good pickaxe. Are you kidding me? Still no fortune? Unfortunate. The rest of the day, I just used up the durability on my axe to absolutely go ham on some of the trees. Having this giant empty slate of an island is great right now because there are so many really tall trees I can just chop down for fun. Oh, I just realized I'm gonna have to use all of this for stick trades. Oh, the foreshadowing hurts. The next 2 days were kind of profit days. What I mean by that is I now have an enchant table, which means I'm going to profit by getting some enchants. Although I did kind of have to work for it. I went into the Nether and started mining for a little while. I mean, of course, I'm gonna off-camera quartz mine, because who shows you all this? I mean, look, I'm mining a quartz ore. Good frickin' job. Oh, you know what I did see? I saw a crawling bear on the ceiling, or maybe it was like a lava bear. I think it was on fire. I saw a fire bear on the ceiling. Yeah, that ended my time in the Nether. I was done after that. I left with around 44 levels, which enabled me to enchant a few different items. You know, like efficiency 4 and breaking 3 diamond axe, or an efficiency 4 fortune 3 diamond pickaxe, maybe some prop 4 boots, prop 3 leggings, and a, well, fire protection chest plate, but we won't talk about that. I also was able to combine my pickaxes to make an efficiency 5, fortune 3, unbreaking 3 diamond pickaxe. I mean, come on, that's a really good pick. By the end of those days, I'd also noticed that the villagers had finally bred and there were babies walking around, which is great because I can actually now make Fletcher villagers. Therefore, I can get emeralds and, well, everything will go a lot smoother. Since the kids weren't grown up yet, I decided to make my island into a living embodiment of a jungle. I planted down a bunch of the 2 wide jungle trees and just went to ham, murdering all of my axe's durability. However, like I said, I'm going to be doing a lot of Fletcher trades as it's first off the easiest and second off the cheapest. So the stacks of wood on the ground right here, those are all going to be gone very, very quickly. By the end of the day, the villager had actually grown up and I was able to make him into a Fletcher, which traded 32 sticks for a single emerald. I know it sounds pretty bad, but it's actually quite good. I got my first trades of the video, left with 16 emeralds, and I was able to go to night-night. One day I'll have that mending. Day 33 is going to be the day that I get a mending book. Alright, I am going to make a lectern and get a villager that just gives me a mending book so I don't have to worry about it. Obviously, to do that, I crafted up a lectern and figured out something pretty cool. Item shelf? What's an item shelf? Oh, that's so cool. That's sick. Apparently, I discovered the craft for a shelf that just goes on the wall. Of course, I had to display my god apple. Unfortunately, it doesn't glow or anything. It still looks cool, though. However, I accidentally crafted 2 of them, which means I could place another item. This happened to be a potion of levitation, and it literally displayed the little name of it. It was so cool. Like, if we could just have this in normal Minecraft, I swear I would play every day. Okay, that's a little bit of a lie, but it would still be really cool. Anyway, back to getting this mending villager. All right, you guys have the idea. All right, you guys know how annoying it is to try and get a mending villager. So I sat here for basically the entire day re-rolling a man until I got mending. I got really close to making another trade as well. There was a sharpness 5 that I had to pass up on, and it was so tempting, dude. And then I got a mending, but it required 37 emeralds. Dude, no one is making a trade for 37 emeralds, especially this guy. So I kept going. Unfortunately, soon after, I got an Unbreaking 3 trade for 19 emeralds. All right, that is an insane trade, and I went through like so many emotions trying to figure out if this is what I wanted or not. Oh, Unbreaking for 19 though, for 19. Oh my god, I have to reevaluate my entire life choices if I get that though, because I need mending still. One of these will grow up and everything. I understand that, but bro, Unbreaking for 19 is unmatched. It's unmatched. Do I know Unbreaking? I mean, like, it's pretty easy to get Unbreaking on my gear and everything, but it's also, like, a really valuable thing, especially when it happens to the Elytra. I have to have it in book form. 19 is such a good trade, and I literally just could not accept it. I mean, I was pondering. I was walking around. I could not figure out if I wanted this or just to go for mending again, because I have to wait for another villager to grow up. I know it's kind of a terrible choice not to go for this because eventually one of them will be a man and I can make him go for mending. But in the moment, my head was definitely spinning. Alright, now I actually just need mending. I have the Unbreaking 3 book. All I have to do is wait for one of the kids to grow up, and in the next coming days, I can actually get mending. Was it the right call? Comment down below. The next day, I thought it would be a little bit fun to kind of troll some of the things on the island. I mean, the villagers are still growing up, so I had the time. They started spawning in iron golems, and other than the fact that I can get extra iron from them, I can also whack them, run away, and then they can't do anything about it when I hit them through the fence gate. Yeah, sure, the villagers are watching me murder their best friend live on camera, but they don't do anything about it. After that, I collected a little bit more trees and decided I had enough wood to start working on the dock I had planned from the very beginning. Remember when I was like psychotically placing logs? It was time that I actually did something with that idea. So for the rest of the day, I start going through and adding straights, which is kind of my way of saying jungle slabs in a straight line. Trust me though, there is a plan, alright? I'm not placing logs and slabs for absolutely no reason. Eventually, I'm sure I'll decorate it. By the end of the day, I had a very basic outline of what I was going to do with these docks, and then I went to sleep with the villagers. Don't take that out of context. I've put it off long enough, it's time to go for mending, alright? I kind of suffered earlier, but now I have to redo it. So I sat in the breeder for a little while and continued re-rolling until I got mending for 18. It's not great, but trust me, it's better than the 37 I got earlier. I locked in the trade and then used the mending to add it to my beautiful diamond axe. With this, it should be really easy to use all of my fletching villagers by cutting down half of, well, hopefully all trees left on the planet. Then I finished out the day by doing a little bit more decoration on the dock, you know, adding the ends, putting some slabs, and deciding which areas I wanted to be gateways. However, I didn't fully finish the build yet. Back to the dock for me. I had to finish this thing up after procrastinating it for way too many days, just like in real life. I started by adding the railway to the dock so your toddler won't fall into the ocean and play with the sharky sea life. Once I had it all made, I added the lights and started using the rest of my deforestation profits to trade for valuable green gems. With my riches, it was time to get a proper set of armor. The 50 pounds of iron wrapped around my body isn't good enough anymore. I need the 20,000 pounds of diamonds laced into my flesh. Okay, that's enough. The day was spent re-rolling villagers for a Protection 4 book. However, a super cheap feather falling guy came up out of nowhere, so yeah, that's a cop. But afterward, I did get prop 4 for cheap, which allowed me to make max leggings and some max boots with the levels that I had. I did shortly run out, so the upper half of my armor will have to be done another day. To get the top set of my armor, I had to trade away all of my rainforest profits that I cut down earlier to get XP. This is like the only way I can think to get levels as fast as possible is just trading away everything I have. But once I had enough levels, I combined everything up and I had the top sets of my armor, which means I am now weighing 20,000 pounds. Yeah, the average Minecraft player is kind of, OP. By nightfall, I also decided to take down my sugarcane farm and not put it anywhere, so it's just gone, I guess. Okay, taking a break from dealing with the villagers, I am going to put them in a different house. Which means it's time to go make the actual villager trading hall. Okay, having them all in the breeder is getting way too much for me to handle. So days 39 through 40, I began work on what I call a terrible build, because I really don't like this thing. I basically just made an L-shaped house with all the jungle wood and leaves that I had, and honestly, it did not turn out well. I do not like this thing. Hopefully the prisoners I put in here, though, will enjoy it, because I'm not changing the design. Day 41, now that we have the villagers a new location to explore, it's time to put them over there. I slowly boated in all the villagers that I wanted because, well, I don't need the librarians for breeding. Again, I still have these 2 random fishermen that I guess I'll just keep in the breeder. After getting in all of the librarian and Fletcher villagers, I took a break because there's no way I can deal with these guys anymore. I mean, look, I'm just boating him across the area. How cool is this? Like, how am I supposed to tell? I took a boat trip with a Squidward. All right, that's all I did this day. Day 42, I was kind of running low on my rainforest lumber profit and had to get back to work. So I would grow more trees with the bone meal I had gotten from the nether and just chop them down in one hit with my axe. This like tree feller mod that I am using is super amazing. I mean, seriously, I don't have to climb these trees and do it. This is a lifesaver. They should just have this in Minecraft. But again, Mojang's stupid. Once I took the entire day to just chop down trees, I got back to work on decorating. I needed a path from our dock all the way over to the new villager hall. So I went through and made some path blocks and then decided to add a little bit of a farm next to the path because what else is going to go here? A building? I can't build, obviously. I just built this monstrosity. Then I think I'm running out of wheat, so it's probably a smart idea to have a farm here since otherwise the villagers are going to go hungry. Wait, that's a better idea. I should not feed them. Since I'm doing some decorations around the island, I kind of noticed that the island's floating. When I built the cobblestone earlier, I built it on water level instead of one below, which means that I am 1 block above the water, and the island looks terrible. So I wanted to begin connecting it to the water by adding dirt to the water level, but remember how I used so much to just make the platform? Yeah, I had to go back in the mines and grab more dirt. So fun. At this point, it's just going to be 100 days of mining dirt underground. After I had all the dirt that I needed, I began making like a 3-wide rim around the island. It actually makes it look like Minecraft terrain instead of an alien came here and just pooped out dirt on the water. And at the end of the day, I decided to get rid of the tree farm that I had on my raft still for some reason. I'm building an entire island and I still had a tree farm on my raft. I think the best option for this spot now is to put my enchantment table here because having it on the island in the middle of nowhere is probably the worst call I could have made. So now that I have that set up here, I can technically use it, even though everything I have is already maxed. Day 45, it was time to get to work on adding something to this little section of the island, alright? We have our villager trading hall, we have our breeder, and we have a random farm, but this area just looks terrible. Ignore the middle part of the island, I swear something's gonna go there. But for this specific area, I wanted to add a little bit of a fishing hut. Now, clearly, I am the best builder to cross the Western Hemisphere. Am I in the West? Yeah, the Western Hemisphere. There we go. I figured it out. And this fishing hut is going to look amazing, all right? I added a little bit of a dock. We have the jungle leaf roof again, because I have no other block. And look at these barrels. Barrels outside, we know, because the fisher people like the barrels for some reason. And then I decided to extend the farm so that it grows the entire length of the path all the way to this new fishing hut. I probably will never use this build, but it's here. Cool. Day 46, I entered the nether so I could get some more bone blocks. I'm running low on bone meal to get the jungle trees up and running, which is basically my only form of profit these days. However, when I went inside, I figured out that this thing is an iron farm. Apparently, they just keep wandering in here, which is good, because technically free iron. Then I headed over to the Soul Sand Valley and started cutting down all of the fossils. Are these fossils or are they just like bones? I mean, well, are bones bones would just be fossils. After getting like a stack of bone blocks, I made my way out, fought through all of the mosquitoes that were in here, by the way, and returned home so I can continue my tree profits. Day 47, I was back to guiding some villagers over to their eternal resting place. I still technically need a Sharpness 5 book, and I need Respiration. I'm out in the middle of the ocean, and I still can't breathe underwater. Terrible, terrible planning by my part. So once I got the 2 villagers in their area, I just began re-rolling for the entire day. It was really, really fun. I did get Sharpness 5 for 64 emeralds, which is pretty cool, and then I got Respiration shortly after. I guess technically the only thing left I need is Aqua Affinity on my helmet, but who really cares about that? Day 48 began with me deciding to take on the Iron Golem problem on my island. First things first, a creeper ended up spawning, which shouldn't have happened, and then the Iron Golem was like, nah, I'm not gonna help. Dude, you are useless to me. I killed the creeper and decided that there's no way these guys can live rent-free anymore, so I wanted a 1v1 an Iron Golem. Of course, I absolutely demolished the guy and moved on to the real task of the day. Buying like 4 crossbows from one of my villagers, okay? I need a maxed out crossbow. I don't really need it, I kind of just want it. But after using a ton of emeralds and then starting combining them for a ton of levels, I still had 2 that I couldn't combine, which meant back to trading away all of my wood profits. However, once I did have enough levels, I created a wooden weapon. So I guess technically I am now the Strapped. Oh, by the end of the day, I also built a circle out of dirt because this is where a mountain's gonna go. And this was the step 1, guys. I'm almost there. All right, we're 50 days into this, and I still have not had a solid accomplishment, all right? So today and tomorrow, I'm gonna focus on killing the Wither. It's been a while since I left my base, and so I decided to bow out with the 2 Wither skeletons that I did have and try and find another. The open ocean is beautiful, and some of these pirate ships look tasty, so I decided to go test my crossbow on one of them. This gigantic pirate ship is full of pillagers who are getting absolutely rocked by this crossbow. They may as well have been vampires by how well I was wood staking them, alright? That's what's happening here. That's a wood stake. Kind of. After finishing off the gigantic sailing ship, I went to all the small ones that are supposed to have witches and the last Wither skeleton skull. Dude, I understand why you lost the mob vote. I hate you. Stop, please. After getting the 3rd skull, though, it was time to find a good place to fight the Wither, so I landed on a nice little sandy beach and spawned it in. Now it's just me versus the Wither on open ocean. I can probably win. Useless. Honestly, this mob is so bad. I can't even believe you're in the game. You are literally the worst mob I've ever had to fight. The Warden, the Ender Dragon, they all are good. You suck. After getting the Nether Star, I guess I can technically make a beacon now, but I don't need one. I mean, it was just kind of fun to beat down on the worst Minecraft boss of all time. Although I guess displaying it would be kind of cool, so I did end up crafting it when I got back home and adding it to the little item shelf. Technically, there isn't really a better flex than this, so I guess it's a good item to have. Remember how before we went on that little adventure to kill the worst boss, I mentioned the fact that I was going to build a mountain here in this circle? Well, I don't have any dirt again. So I think you can guess where I'm in the caves. I know. Again, I'm in the caves. I'm just mining dirt for the next 2 days. It's the most fun thing in the world, I swear. Like, I'm having a great time down here. I mean, look, it's dirt. And then look, more, oh, that's stone. But look, more dirt. I mean, see, this is, these are my days, man. Day 53, I remember the fact that I live out in the middle of the ocean and my domain has to be under it, okay? So I gotta conquer it by getting Aqua Affinity on one of my helmets. So I made a diamond helmet and started enchanting it so I could get Aqua Affinity. Unfortunately, I didn't first try it, but I did eventually get it. I combined it with my current one and now I have the best diamond helmet you could possibly get, okay? Unless, I don't know, you trim it or something, but this isn't 1.20. Now I can do whatever I want in the water because this is my domain. The other part of the day, I wanted to breed the villagers and keep that cycle going, as well as just tackle the mountain idea that I had. So I grabbed up some cobblestone and built a little pillar and then tried to figure out how I wanted the mountain to form. Side note, the entire time I was doing this, I was watching a brand new anime, so I honestly don't know how this mountain's gonna turn out because I was so not focused on it whatsoever. I mean, this is the spider-like project at the end of this day. I do not have high hopes. Next, I went to work on the mountain. I got rid of my terrible dirt outline and used cobblestone to build up specific sections of the hill, figuring out how the shape of it was going to ultimately look. Trust me, cobblestone will not be the main look I use. I don't want an eyesore on the island. However, I quickly ran out of the block, which means back to the mines to grab more. But when using up what I had just grabbed, I didn't plan ahead and, I gotta go back a second time. However, while I was down there, I realized that I'm gonna be needing a lot more than just cobblestone. So for the next 3 days, I stayed in the mines. You will be shocked at what I did. I got dirt. I'm sorry. 23 stacks of dirt later, I was done. Tired, but done. I didn't have to look at it anymore. And if you would like to look at it, just keep this frame on your screen right here the whole time. You know what? I'm going to keep it up for 5 more seconds, okay? I'm going to continue to talk as well so you're not extremely bored like I was. I probably had music on, but that doesn't matter because we're staring at dirt. Day 58, I was back to replacing the cobblestone with said dirt until I had the entire thing covered in poo. Afterward, I swapped out for stone and began adding in the real color. Also, how's the grass gonna reach the top of this thing? I should use my 4 IQ to start planning out my builds better. Day 59 began my decoration arc. I grabbed some slabs and some stairs and began putting it on the mountain to round it out. These minor details literally only look good to me, so heck off, alright? Comment down below that you like my build. Alright, don't do that. I had to mine so much dirt for this. Then for the rest of day 59, I began moving more villagers from the breeding hall to the trading hall. I need to fill out all of these slots in here, so I need more librarians and fletchers. Plus, I did figure out that I actually will need silk touch to get the grass to spread up there, so I had to go for it in one of the librarians. Once I had it, I tried adding it to my shovel at the end of the day, and unfortunately I was 3 levels short, not unlike real life. The next 2 days I would like to call Decoration V2. I first started out by scamming the Squidward squad so that I can combine for an OP shovel. Then I took out some of the grass blocks from the island and put it all over the mountain. It's really a hill. After that, I went back to the 23 stacks of dirt that I had before and started using it to make what I would call a little lake. I was gonna call it a waterfall, but you'll see why it's not. After I had the first layer of it built, I slowly made it go down into the bridge section. I'm gonna make a small little river here and then probably a bridge. Even though I have a dock that's meant to be a bridge, I still do this. I don't know why. I grabbed cobblestone and stone and began outlining the riverbed. I also used slabs and stairs to, once again, make it a little bit more detailed. After that, I realized I have silk touch now, so I went over to the coral reefs and grabbed some of the coral, or what are these, the coral fans, I guess? So with those and sea pickles in hand, I decorated our little riverscape. Then I began noticing that the stuff I'm building right here is so much cooler than the rest of the island, so it was time to tackle that decoration project as well. I added pathways in their correct location because I've been walking without them, and how am I going to walk there if there's no path? Then I used some fences and lanterns to light the way, went around the island planting a bunch of trees so that the island looks okay, figured out that the vines I mined 30 days ago are actually useful, and tried to get the perfect tree to go on top of the mountain. Trust me, some of them were a little too tall and some of them were a little too short, but we don't hate on any of them. To finish out the 2 long days of decorating, I went and bone mealed around the island, and I think it's looking pretty good. I still have a lot to do, but for the decoration arc, it was a solid 10 out of 10. Days 62 and 63, I made a little bit of a hole in the mountain. This is where I'm going to put our nether portal, because if you remember correctly, it was sitting out in the middle of nowhere for way too long. I made it kind of look like a little bit of a hobbit hole, and I guess it now resides here. I then planted a couple trees so I could knock down all of their leaves, did some minor island touch-ups, and then got work on the pathways, okay? The pathways are the most important part of the thing. Otherwise, I don't know where I'm going. Can't walk there. No path. However, after using a bunch of path blocks for the path, I realized that it would be best if I had chorus blocks, and shocker, I don't have any gravel. So I went back to the nether, traversed this hellish landscape just to get some gravel. Ah, yes, this coarse dirt looks so good. Glad I risked my life for this. Day 64 couldn't have been more boring if Marvel wrote it for ya. Okay, Quantumania was pretty bad, actually. I was honestly just doing some odd job. The coolest part was that I made a tiny little bridge out of campfires, and then, shocker, it led to a campfire. I actually built a campfire area that the only way to get to it was with a campfire bridge. Astounding, I guess. And to finish out the day, I went through and made a couple new farms. Yeah, that like 15 seconds is probably better than Quantum Mania now that I think about it. Day 65 was much like Thor Love and Thunder, a drag. I begin by making another pathway all the way to the end of the island because this is the spot I'm going to be making an iron farm eventually. I want to do like a little ship that actually collects the iron. However, I don't really have the patience for an iron farm, so I don't even think I attempt it in these 100 days. But I do attempt the build of it, okay? I start the ship out in the water, and this is going to be a broken down sailboat. So I just start by making the base of the ship out of jungle logs and kind of shaping it into a banana. However, this is all I get done by the end of the day. Day 67, I went straight back to building the ship. I finished out the curvature on both sides, made sure that the ship had a nice floor, and then started building the mast at the end of the day. However, I realized that I have 0 wool, so building up here to make a sail is gonna do nothing for me. I'm demoted back down to 3 brain cells. Day 68 was reserved for the killing chamber of the eventual iron golem farm. I went to the ship, made a gigantic hole inside of it, and started working out where I was gonna add some glass and lava. Now, I had to make it a little bit further down in the ship, which was pretty hard because of all of the water coming in and then the slabs that the ship had. It was kind of a nightmare. But I did eventually get the lava placed where water wasn't flowing on it, and yes, iron golems can now technically fall from the heavens, I guess, because I haven't built anything, but they can die here. Day 69 through 74, a giant endeavor I was about to embark on, alright? We are 70% of the way through this video, and I do not have netherite armor. Shameful of me. So I went to the nether and headed down to the base of the world. Then put the weight of this journey on the back of my pickaxe, hoping it doesn't break. For the next however many hours, I was just mining, alright? Like, I'll show you. I got netherite. Netherite. There's more. Good job. After I had enough netherite to turn all of my blue gear purple, I headed back home. I emerged from the mines victorious, and all I have to do now is wait for the furnace to smelt. I'm impatient. Although after I had it all done, I made 8 netherite ingots and was able to make my axe, pickaxe, shovel, and armor all into netherite. They call me ancient because I be covered in debris. Oh god, please don't add that. Then at the end of day 74, I went back to trading away nature's profits for emeralds. Day 75, I had accomplished a lot on my world already. The island's looking pretty spiffy, and so am I. However, there are still a few more things I gotta tackle. One of those things is the ocean. I totally forgot that there's water underneath me, so I wanted to grab a ton of coral and decorate the underside of my island. To do that, I need a brand new pickaxe, one with silk on it, and honestly, it just gives me an excuse to have a little bit of fun with some more trees. See, you're not putting the facts together. The rest of day 75 was all meant to make an island where I would be farming trees. That's because I need more emeralds and more XP to make said pickaxe. Now that it's all clicking in your head, let's get to the video. I made a little bit of an outline with dirt, filled it all in, added some grass blocks to make the grass grow, put some torches down, and then I have no way to get here. You know what? I might need to build a bridge. How lucky I was that day 76 existed because, shocker, I went on to build the bridge. It's a pretty small bridge, so it didn't take a lot of time, but it did have a really weird curve. I went through quite a few designs, added some torches, fences, walls. You get the gist. It's a bridge. You've walked across it. Maybe you've jumped off one. But here we are, a bridge. Safely you've jumped off a bridge. Bungee jump. Bungee off a bridge. All I did was cut down, farm, and replant the trees on the island, and then use that to trade with the villagers to get myself to level 30. That I used to enchant the best pickaxe. That's not good. That's a terrible pickaxe. Maybe this day was boring. Day 78 was back on the grind. I farmed a little bit more, got some more villager XP and some trades going, finally enchanted a really good diamond pickaxe, added in all the books that I needed, and boom, another god pick. Now all I have to do is turn this bad boy into netherite and we are good to go. That's not how you do that. Okay, put it in the right thing, please. Then I try to remember what I did all of this for. Right, coral. Okay, cool. Can't I just use shears for coral? He would later regret saying that. The reason that statement exists is because for the next 3 days, I try and go on an adventure to max out some shears. I start that process at the end of this day by re-rolling villagers to try and get efficiency 4 or 5. Unfortunately, they all tire out before I can and we have to go to bed. Day 79, still re-rolling to try and get an efficiency villager so I can max out a pair of shears. Found one that had Death Strider 3 though and instantly locked it in. I may as well. For some reason, I still don't have it, and I live in the ocean. But I went back to making another lectern and re-rolling! The story of my life's getting boring. It's day 80, and I'm still re-rolling. This is the worst experience of my life. Finally, I got efficiency and I locked it in immediately. I bought 3 books and was going to use it on all of the 3 items that aren't maxed efficiency. I combined some of these epic books to make an efficiency 4 on breaking 3 silk touch and mending book, trying to apply it to some shears, and silk touch just can't go on them. I didn't know that fact. Should have warned me. The rest of day 80 was really fun. It was super expensive to try and make everything efficiency 5, so I was going back and forth to villagers for XP again. After enough, I quickly put efficiency 5 on my pickaxe and went to get even more XP. Then I put that OP book on my shears, and it just took a very long time to get these tools, and I did not need to go through that. 81, I can finally make that dream that I thought of 5 days ago into a reality. I swam over to the nearby coral and started picking up color after color, fan after fan, it did not matter. Once I had a full inventory, I swam to the underside of my island and started placing. All of this is going to be artificial coral pieces. After a little while, I realized I don't know what coral looks like. I mean, I spread it all out too much, it's not great, I'm gonna need so much more of this stuff, and well, the only thing that can fix it now is sea pickles. Day 2, I went back to review my coral build, and I'm gonna do this later. It looks not good. Instead, I went back to tree farming because my new idea is to make a storage room. Now, I know I have the Raft. I've been living on it for quite some time now. However, the storage system isn't big. 80 days of material gathering later, I have run out of space. So, the only place I could think to put a storage room is inside the giant mountain we made. It's literally perfect. I went inside and started planning it out. I added a lot of jungle logs to make a platform, covered up all the dirt in the walls so it's not ugly, plus I despise dirt at this point in the video. Filled in the platform with some planks, added a ladder access point, put down some chests, placed ladders everywhere, filled in more spaces with barrels and chests. Again, I need a lot of storage, and I need to organize it too. So yes, this is needed. Then I finished it out by placing down some leaves and vines to make it all look more natural. By the end of the day, I was feeling decently accomplished and walked past one of the coolest things ever. My river has a pet, dude. I have a giant yellow eel in here. Okay, so I made a storage room. Now all I gotta do is organize my storage. I started by moving all of my things over, making chest after chest, one for the nether, plants, food, ores, etc. It took a bit of time to get everything sorted out, but now I have a general idea of each and every item and where they're located. You guys know I do this in every video, so get used to it. At this point, I'm totally convinced that my brain was running out of ideas because days 84 through 86, my plan was just to get looting. You wanna know why I wanted looting? I wanted a looting 3 sword because soon I'm gonna go to the end and I need shulker boxes. So I went back to tree farming, or how I like to call deforestation, so I could get XP for the sword. I went through my villager hall and counted up which enchants I have. I've got sharpness, unbreaking, mending, I need looting, and I need fire, technically. Thankfully, that stuff can actually be achieved by doing level 30 enchants. So I went over and did 2 level 30 enchants, got looting 2 and sharpness 3, and then fire aspect 2 and sharpness 3. Kind of exactly what I needed. But like I said, looting 3 is the goal. So I made another lectern and it was time to reroll. Looting 2 or sweeping edge 3 would be really nice. I finally got looting 2 and locked it in. Bought some mending books and breaking books from the trading hall, combined it all up, and now I have a, oh nope, shocker, ran out of XP again. Finally got it back and combined the 2 diamond swords to make a fire spec 2, sharp 4, looting 2, and then I got even more XP to make a mega OP diamond sword with fire spec, sharpness 5, looting, and unbreaking. That was a process. Although it's still diamond because I ran out of netherite, so guess where I'm headed? That's right, hell. I strip mine for some ancient debris, return to the overworld, and boom! Now I have another netherite bar, making the sword netherite. That's right. 4 days for this. 4 days for this sword. I went and just did this for no reason whatsoever. Awesome. I guess technically I can't save for nothing, because on day 88, it was finally time to get all the stuff that I needed to go to the end. However, it's been a really long time since I've been in here to actually explore, so I forgot where the Nether Fortress is. Once I arrived, I began farming up some blazes, and since I now have this looting 3 that I just said was useless, it took no time at all. After I had all the rods, I headed back to the overworld and made the 16 Eyes of Ender. Boom, I finally made the eyes. I can go to the end at any point. Oh, and I also made a couple ender chests because I've been liking using those for storage. Day 89 through 94. Yes, the next 5 days, it was time. I was so excited. I prepared my inventory for this big expedition. I was gonna go to the end, I'm gonna get the shulker boxes, I'm gonna beat up a pet dragon, and then I'm gonna take its child and put it in a lamp. I don't know. But the minute I tried to throw the eyes, they didn't work. This world doesn't actually have a stronghold. The entire thing is made of ocean, and I forgot all of that up until now. It's major depression. I have no idea what to do. However, past me who recorded the video had a great idea. Let's just beat up an Elder Guardian. Why not, right? So I went to go experiment on how to make water-breathing potions. I made a brewing stand and started smelting the glass so I could make bottles and began growing netherwort. I made the potion base and then put a pufferfish in and boom, I got water-breathing pots. Look at that. Totally didn't Google it. I did. Grabbed all the pots that I would needed, used some redstone to extend them, and now I'm boating out of here. Alright, we're going out into the open ocean in search of an Elder Guardian. This is when it gets more depressing than finding out that the stronghold doesn't exist, because I searched for the next, as I said, 5 days for an Elder Guardian. 5 days. I was out here, left, right, center, backwards, forwards, underwater, with the water. I am water. Trying to find an Elder Guardian, but instead, all I could find was these broken down Guardian temples, nothing that actually mimicked the real thing. So yet again, I'm at a loss. I really wanted some big fight at the end, okay? I was searching for something to do. Like, I really just wanted to kill something, to get it out of my system, all right? This water was caging me here. I couldn't go to the end. The only place I could go was hell. I don't even know. My life is a lie. Days 95 through 98, I just went back to coral. If I can't find something to do, I am just going to continue decorating underneath my base. I got another inventory full of coral and began placing down different shapes, sizes, and colors, patterns, the fans, everything. The end product of the coral doesn't look too bad, but I don't know, dude. I thought everything was going to plan. I was going to have this really fun end adventure, and now I'm stuck because of the ocean. I ended up spending part of the end of this time by fishing. When I went fishing, I ended up getting a goldfish. Okay, getting a goldfish is quite sick, though. I needed something to name this man, all right? I've failed, so I can't name it Nemo because that was a pretty successful movie, and it's a little generic. I made an iron frame in my storage room, and this is where I was going to put him. Gup. This is Gup, the little fishy Gup. I don't know. This is all I've got. Gup's my only friend. He's dead. I mean, he's not even in water anymore. He's on the wall. I hanged my only friend. I'm a horrible friend. I should not have. Gup is my failure. He's on the wall now. Days 99 through 100. The last 2 days, I am suffering this turmoil on a raft. I've got nothing to kill. I am itching for something to whack with this awesome sword I spent 4 days getting. So I decided right then and there for the next 2 days, I'm going to kill everything in the ocean. Every shark, every eel, every whale, they're all dying. I don't care. There is not a single thing that's going to do damage to me. I have built up all of my armor, all of these tools for a reason, and I'm going to use it to curse the ocean. I hopped on my boat and I began looking through the sea to see if there were any sharks around. They swim in pretty big groups and only take a few hits to kill. At one point, I was scared of these things. Shocker, I'm not anymore. I even ended up finding a whale. Whales, okay? They're supposed to pose a threat to me? I'm the whale killer. Look, in hindsight, for these last couple of days, I kind of went literally insane. I came up with a goal that was literally so crazy, I could have been the only one to do it. But yeah, I swam through the ocean, killing as many aggressive and non-aggressive sharks, eels, whales as I could, man. By the end of it, I had killed probably over 100 sea life. I mean, sure, you know, that's not gonna actually destroy the ocean or anything, but it helped me a lot during that time. By the end of day 100, I wanted to do something meaningful. So remember that beacon I had on an item shelf? I figured I may as well stack some of the blocks down below underneath my island and actually make a full-on beacon. Once I had it all set underneath my storage room, I chose strength and regeneration because nobody likes jump boost and I don't want speed. But the giant flare went all the way up into the sky, and the only thing I wish is that I could have made it green. However, again, I'm in the ocean, there's no cactus. I don't really know how to end the video, you know? I thought I was gonna have something awesome. I just made a beacon and I can't even share it with anyone. So I grabbed Gus. Dude, his name is Gub. How did you forget it? You just got the man. You're holding a dead fish and you called him by the wrong name. Oh, the editor in me is so wanting to cut this out. The only real animal friend I have. I held him in my hand as I looked over at the sunset. I literally ended this video by holding a dead fish in my hand. The lesson I learned over the last 100 days trying to survive on a raft: don't. It sucks. If you guys did end up enjoying this video, make sure to hit that like button down below and subscribe to the channel. It helps me out a ton and is a free way to support me. If you guys want me to survive 200 days on the raft and go even more insane than I just did, you watched the mental break at the end, right? Then 30,000 likes and 2,000 comments for me to suffer the same fate I just did. Other than that, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.